First of all, best of luck to Virginia Tech. Obviously, I've got a lot of respect for that program. Brent Pry is doing a heck of a job. He is the right guy for that job. They've got a good team. They're going to win a lot of football games this year. We knew it was going to be a battle coming in here. I know what that program's about. And they got a lot of really good players. Their record was better last year they were a better team last year than what the record indicated, and we knew we'd be in for a battle as well. So best of luck to those guys, certainly. Appreciate Aflac for inviting us to play in this game. They're a first-class organization. So thankful for Gary Stokin and his staff at the Peach Bowl. He's a Hall of Famer and all-timer. Are you really retiring? Congratulations. So for all you've done as well, like for everything you've done in the first class, this is an awesome event to be a part of. So we feel very blessed to have been in this game. Proud of our players. It was certainly ugly at times. We made it harder on ourselves than we needed to at times, but we told them at halftime that, I rounded them last year in this game, Georgia-Clemson. I think Georgia was winning 6-0 at halftime, and then you saw in the second half how they just continued to get better, Georgia last year. So we told our players that, it's a similar scenario, and if we are who we say we are, a team that's tough and has depth and physical and competitive, that we should get better as the game goes. And it was really cool to see our guys do that. Certainly really emotional for me. I'd be lying to you if I told you this one wasn't extra special. I was doing pretty good with my emotions till we got here and did the walk, and I saw my parents at the end of it. So that one certainly got me on that one. And first games are tough, but this one's extra tough just because of the unknown with Virginia Tech, with their new coordinators, the emotions of the game, all that as well. Just really, really proud of our players and the way they continued to battle throughout, and really cool to see us finish the game the way we did. So, questions?
Shane, could you go through the decision to make them re-kick and not accept the penalty?
Yeah, I just told our team in the locker room, there's a lot of coaches that would just say, hey, we'll take the extra 5 yards, and not us. Anytime an old special teams coach told me like 20 years ago, not my dad, David, that'd be way too fitting if it was him, but another special teams coach told me nothing good for the kicking team ever happens after a re-kick. And I'm sick in the head. I was having PTSD to the 2009, thank you. You clearly remember 2009 Clemson game where we kicked off to C.J. Spiller, Jacoby Ford, and Ellington, I think, maybe, and we were all sides. And then we came back over to the sideline, and I had that voice in my head, nothing good happens after a re-kick, and I let DJ Swearinger and Stephon Gilmore and those guys talk me into re-kicking, and then C.J. Spiller took it back 80 yards for a touchdown. So I was thinking of that, but really it was just we really felt like we had an advantage on when they punt the football with our people out there, whether blocking a punt, which we came close on a couple of them, or returning one. And because we were able to generate some pressure on them, they're very cognizant of getting a punt block. So our guys did a great job. And guys that are DQ Smith's out there. He's double teaming a guy, and it was really, really cool. And then so proud of Akari Swain. He's a weapon, and it was really neat for him to do that, and how fitting that is, playing Virginia Tech and with their history, my dad's history of special teams, to score. I know Joe D's glad this week's over, because I'm always amped up about special teams, but this week especially with everything that we had going. But really, what a play, and we needed it too. We weren't playing great on offense, and we needed a spark at that point.
Let's go way to left. Nope. Right there, corner. There you go.
Hey, Shane, you mentioned just all the stuff around this game outside of football. How would you describe the experience for you just this week and today?
Awesome. I've tried to just, focus on what's important, and that's, staying in the moment and helping our players perform well today. First games are always extra tough, in my opinion, just the newness and first games. We had 15 true freshmen in uniform today that had never been here, a bunch of new transfers that were playing their first game in a Gamecock uniform. So it was a lot of, unknown and nerves, but then you just add the emotions of it. But, I think I did okay during the week, and I talked to the team on Tuesday. I didn't want there to be any question about where my emotions were. I wanted to dominate this football game and go win it, and told those guys that early in the week, and proud of them for, having each other's backs and having my back and finding a way to win it in the fourth quarter.
Hey Shane, Nick Harper had a drop earlier, but he came back and got the big touchdown catch. What can this do to help his confidence and also help him to continue to advance his game?
Yeah, really proud of Nick. I mean, how about him covering punts too, Rick? I mean, what a great tackle he had when he went downfield as the gunner and made a solo tackle, returning kicks for us. But when he was obviously disappointed. It was a heck of a catch, and I hate that they overturned it, but I get it. And I told Nick, you're gonna come back and make another one as well. And he did. I mean, what a play. He's a weapon. He's just going to continue to get better. Nobody works harder. I'm so happy for him. He's such a great young man. And it's pretty awesome. The day that you guys were one of the days that you guys were out at practice that we gave you media availability, and we were in the indoor, and Hunter was there, and some of you guys took some pictures of Hunter out on the field that day. Well, there was a play that from the day before, the same play that Nick scored on Harvard today. We had ran it the same play the day before in practice, and Lenoris did not throw the post to Nick on that play. So Hunter was at practice, and Mike Shula came over to Hunter and said, hey, go tell Lenoris when we call that play to throw the post. And lo and behold, that's the play that we called today, and he sure as hell threw the post on that one today for a touchdown. So credit Hunter for coaching up Lenoris on that one to throw the post, and great job by Nick going up. And our offensive line, too, protection-wise, holding up in there and giving him time to throw it.
When Vicari dropped the punt return earlier, you immediately went up to him and talked to him. What did you say, and then what went through your head when you saw him return it for 80 yards?
So initially, we didn't release a depth chart, but Jalen Kilgore was probably going to be the punt returner today. And then he had a little bit of a hamstring that had been nagging him this week, so Vicari got more of the reps. And we just said, Jalen, you focus on defense. Vicari, you're going to be the punt returner. And he's a talented guy, but that's tough when you are in this environment, that arena, and everything. And I told him in pregame warmups he's going to make a play. And when he dropped that first one, I just told him, same thing I told Nick when he dropped that ball on whatever it was, second down, third down early in the game, get that one out of your system. And I told him you're going to make a play here before the day's out to help us win this thing. And he certainly did. But it just goes back, he's young. We got a lot of young guys, just helping them through those moments because this is an awesome environment. And credit to our fans for coming out and making it like a home game for us today. It was awesome to see them here, and I know our players fed off that as well. And I'd be remiss, too. We gave a game ball to Travian Robertson in the locker room in there. I hate that he's not here. I know he's certainly was watching and wanted to be here. Obviously, I talked to him yesterday when we landed in Atlanta as soon as I got off the plane, and told him we were going to get this thing for him. So it's pretty cool to be able to take a game ball back to him.
It seemed like you were shuffling the offensive line, kind of in the second half. How would you evaluate that group and how they progressed throughout the game?
I thought they were good. Shed Surratt wasn't here today. He's injured. He would have, had a role in this game, most likely. He's been out for a couple weeks, and thought we were going to be able to get him back, but he just wasn't quite ready. So those guys did okay. Early on, Virginia Tech, we talked about how critical it's going to be in the first quarter, just figuring out what their plan is. And we had a, thought that it would be movement and trying to disrupt us up front. And they did a nice job, taking away the run early. Thought those guys on the offensive line settled down. We got Marquis Anderson in there. Rodney Newsome started, and we got Marquis in there as the game went also, and I thought he did a good job. And we've got a solid – I wish we had more depth on the offensive line, but we've got a solid, 7, 8 guys in there right now that we feel comfortable playing, and that was the plan, to get all those guys in there as the game went.
Andy Staples, raise your hand.
Andy Staples. What's up, Andy?
So Dylan had a few where he almost got home before he finally did it. Do you guys ever have to keep him up on the side, like, hey, keep, you're gonna do it, or is it just he's that disruptive even when he doesn't get the quarterback?
No, I literally just had that conversation. He is that disruptive when he doesn't get the quarterback, but I literally just had that conversation with Dylan walking off the field. I was really proud of him today, and it's one thing that we've been talking to him about, and it's something we talked about as a staff this morning when we met at the hotel, that Dylan couldn't let the frustration get to him where, they're double teaming him or they're chipping him or they're running away from him, because when they're doing that, they're devoting a lot of resources to him. And there's 10 other guys out there that now need to step up and make plays. And I thought Dylan did a great job. I mean, I thought he played really, really hard. He affected the quarterback even when he wasn't in the backfield. And that's what I was most proud of, is just how his demeanor during the game, because he's still young, but Dylan of last year, I think, might have let the frustration get to him, and he just continued to play and has matured in a lot of ways, and really, really proud of him.
How's Judge doing and overall with the cornerbacks? It seemed like you guys are leaving them out there one-on-one, and they were able to get a lot of 50-50 balls.
They did. We got to be better about playing the ball in the air. I mean, our guys are in position, and their receivers are good. I mean, the what is it, Zero, the guy that transferred from Wake Forest. I mean, you watch his Wake Forest tape. He made a lot of one-on-one catches like that and knew he was a weapon for them. And they did a nice job. And, disappointed that on those 50-50 balls that they came down with them too many times. But proud of our guys. I mean, we were rolling guys in there. I mean, Judge got hurt, to answer your question, to be determined. It's a little bit of a knee injury right now. We'll see when we get back to Columbia. But he was not able to return, obviously. And then, Brandon Cisse, Miles Norwood, they're in there. DeMarcus Leach is in there as a true freshman, came in there. We didn't really anticipate him playing, but he's in there playing today and whatnot. So losing Judge was a big loss, but those other guys stepped up, and then certainly, that'll be a point of emphasis for us in practice this week. We've got to be better at playing those 50-50 balls in the air.
Shane, congratulations. Now that you've gone through this experience of coaching against Virginia Tech and winning the game, and your whole family got to be there, how will you remember this day?
Just proud of our players and how they played. I remember just, it's not to, pat myself on the back or give myself accolades, but I really appreciate our players, telling me in the fourth quarter, we got your back, coach, and we got this one. We got it for you and all that as well. And that means a lot. It's just it's a great group of young men in that locker room. I'll remember just the gratitude that I have for my time at Virginia Tech, growing up, playing there, coaching there, the gratitude that I have for the unbelievable, fan base and people in this program here at Carolina and my family that's here. I'm very blessed, Mark, not to get, cheesy and all that, but I got up like I always do and go, running this morning at like 6:30, and we were staying downtown, and I ran down to Georgia Tech's campus. And, I got into coaching in this city 26 years ago, I guess now, back in the year 2000, as a young graduate assistant at Georgia Tech. Didn't know a darn thing and just trying to hope I could get a job one day, coaching football somewhere. And saw the window where my old office was and walked up in the outside of the stadium, and then went running down to where the practice fields were, and just gratitude that, 26 years ago to get into this profession. Just hoping to, get a job, and then here I am 26 years later to be coaching in the SEC at a special place like South Carolina. It's, pretty cool. They did not. They did not. But they'll recycle the one they got of me from last year over and over again.
Coach, when you look at how Lenora Sellers starts this game, just what he does in general with his feet as well as his arm, just reflecting on recruiting him, coming in late, and hindsight 2020, having a leader like that on this team.
Yeah, he's a stud. He'll be the first to tell you he missed some throws as well, and could have been better. The one where we got the safety, we had a couple guys open over on the left side that would have liked to have gotten the ball to quicker. The third down, the Mazio as well. So he'll be the first to tell you. But he's just a guy. He's a super competitive guy. And, we gave him a game ball in there just because he made so many individual efforts. You think about where we're trying to run out the clock, and there's about 3 people sitting there ready to hit him, and he scrambles down the sideline and gets a first down a couple times and keeps us from having to punt the ball back to them. That was what was awesome to see. Just that's who he is, and Bill Roth. And to see him do that, that's who he is.
What do you think of the way Fred played today, led the team tackles, and then can you kind of just take us through what happened there on the interception where he doesn't go down the end zone, runs out to the 2-yard line, that you guys have with the safety there.
Yeah, poor coaching that he didn't go down. He was awesome, first of all. Fred's a big-time player, and being from Virginia, right there in Norfolk at Maury High School, you knew he was amped up, and that's what some of the players said when he was flying sideline to sideline. One of the guys on the sideline was like, man, he's on a freaking mission today, and that's the way that he played. So happy for him. It was really cool, and what a play. That was a big stop, obviously, down there in the red zone to keep them from getting points there. But, it's something that we, talk about, not bringing that thing out and going down. I think he just, kind of got caught up in the moment, and hindsight being 2020, go down as well. But, it's hard to fault him in some of those situations when he was a heck of an offensive player in high school, so I guess he just envisioned running that thing back 102 yards for a touchdown too, so who knows.
Shane, Kyle Bailey, Charlotte. You've talked a lot about toughness, tough football teams throughout your career. In a game like this, how do you gauge the toughness of your team? How did you see that develop throughout the course of it? And when you go back and look at the tape, what are you looking for?
Yeah, physical, tough, mentally and physically. Early in the game, I thought we were doing that. I mean, there were some ugly runs, but if you look up on a lot of those plays, our offensive linemen had Virginia Tech guys on the ground as well, and for the most part, did a good job stopping the run, which is a challenge. I mean, Drones is a load back there, and he's hard to bring down, and he's a heck of a player, and whatnot. But I was proud of them, the mental toughness to just hang in there and not get frustrated and at one another or anything, and just continue to just battle and get stronger. And we knew that this was a physical team. Jared Ferguson is running the strength and conditioning program now. Jared was a teammate of mine. Jared was the associate strength coach when I was there with my dad, and so I know what they're about. And Brent Pry knows what Virginia Tech's about. And I think he's got like 9 of my dad's former players on his staff right now, so they know what it's about. And that's that lunch pail mentality that permeates through that program. So we knew it was going to be a battle, and we knew that we needed to be physical and tough as well. And I think we certainly did that, especially as the game went on, and our depth and size kind of took over a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, Shane, you lost so much off your defense last year. Maybe that was one of the big question marks coming into the season, yet you go out and your defense doesn't allow a touchdown today. What did you see out there from that group in terms of some of these new guys you plugged in and just the way they played together for the first time in a game?
I was proud of them. They battled. I like our group. Obviously, losing Judge, like I said, was a tough loss early in the game, but we have depth, and I've been saying it all along that particularly, at linebacker and at defensive back, we have more depth than we did last year, meaning we've got more guys we feel comfortable putting in the game as well. And I thought those guys, for a first time, I mean, you think about it, it was like, so we're sitting on the plane yesterday, Phil, flying over here, and we're watching Alabama, Florida State, and I'm looking across the aisle, and there's Sean Murphy and J.O., who were playing for Alabama and Florida State last year, and it's just like, geez, like Twilight Zone as well. But I say that meaning that was their first game as a South Carolina Gamecock, those two guys, and a lot of the new faces, and we'll continue to get better. Overall, I thought they did a good job. We played a lot of guys up front. Got to be able to continue to find ways to generate pressure on the quarterback, because teams aren't going to sit back there all day, and they're going to get rid of the ball quickly, and we've got to find ways to continue to generate pressure on the quarterback. We've got to continue to find ways to, win those 50-50 balls at defensive back, but to not allow a touchdown, I mean, against a good offense too, is really, really our mantra around here, Phil, is just put the ball down, and I thought those guys just continue to put the ball down and get stops, and it was really cool to see those guys do that, and I'll be eager to watch the tape and get back to work this week in practice and continue to find ways to get better.
Hey Shane, TJ Wilkerson, VTRN Sports. Coach, this felt like Beamer ball. Special teams, defense, making the splash. Did you feel that from your perspective, and did Frank feel that way as well?
I hope he did. I told Chris, the sideline reporter for ABC, after Vicari's touchdown, I told her, I'm like, it's like so many Virginia Tech games where offense is ugly and special teams finally says, all right, we're tired of watching this. We're just going to go score ourselves. And that's what we did. And then the defense made stops. And then the offense, lined up and ran the ball there at the end of the game to finish it. So it was really neat. If you could have scripted it, you would have scripted it like that. To score on special teams was pretty special, without a doubt, especially, playing Virginia Tech and with him being here.
I think you had about 5 yards in your first 5 carries from running backs in the game. But then after that first quarter, Sewell and Oscar made a lot of plays. What'd you see from them making the adjustment after you got stopped pretty early on in the game?
Yeah, the first drive was obviously good to go right down the field and score like we did. You're like, okay, heck of a start. And then it got ugly in there between that and the end of the half, I guess, as well. But I thought those guys just continued to battle. We knew, and we told our players early in the week, we talked about it as a staff, we knew it was going to be some ugly runs, dirty runs, we call it, meaning there's unblocked guys. You're not really sure what their defense is going to be. They've got good players. The 2 linebackers are really athletic. The 2 defensive tackles are good football players. Gilliam, number 22. I mean, when I was at Oklahoma, we recruited him to Oklahoma. So Kelvin's a good player. We knew that they were active up front. And we told our guys there's going to be some ugly runs early. Just keep battling. And those guys really did a nice job. And Oscar had some really good individual efforts where it wasn't blocked, and he got more than what it was there in the screen that we had, and then, a couple of the runs, and then Sewell, heck of a run throughout the day as well.
Going off the toughness of this team today, how good is it for them going forward this season that in this first week they had to face some adversity, face a little bit of scoreboard pressure, and they ultimately got through it?
Yeah, so good. And I just told them that in the locker room. I mean, it's a heck of a win. It really is. To have some guys that were down with some injuries, to be in an environment like this against a team that returned a lot off last year's team, meaning Virginia Tech, that had this game circled on their calendar. Like, I've been in their shoes. It was basically us the entire offseason of 2024, where everybody's telling them how much they stink and they're not going to be very good. They watched College Game Day yesterday. They saw everybody on the game day set pick South Carolina to win big, and we knew it was going to be a battle. Or I did. I hope everybody else on our team did, but knew it was going to be a battle. And we talked about it, meeting with kind of our leadership group earlier in the week. We gave them some scenarios. It's an old, Michael Phelps, the swimmer, talked about, he used to think about before races, he would do the race in his head, how you want it to go, how it could go, or how it should go, how it could go, and how you don't want it to go. And I met with a lot of the leaders on our team earlier this week, and we talked about that. And one of the things that we said it could go is it's ugly for a while, and we got to just kind of hang in there and push through the adversity and stay close and stay together and get it to the second half, and we'll be okay. And I told them at halftime, it's what we talked about earlier in the week. So really proud of their mental and physical toughness to hang in there and just keep getting stronger.
Shane, going into this season, you had a big question on your kicking game. And your young kickers, first game today, Mason averaged 47.8 a punt. You made your only field goal today. But just talk a little bit about your kickers and snappers.
Yeah, proud of them. I kidded with Joe D. We always, right before the game, when we come off the field from pregame warm-ups, I told him that I asked him how we looked in pregame because I was scared to watch with some of the snappers and holders and kickers and punters, just because it was their first game. And it's scary in so many ways that, when we punted today, it's the first time since I've been the head football coach at South Carolina that Kai Kroger did not punt. And to have a new snapper, a new holder, a new field goal kicker, a new punt returner, a new punter and kick returner, everything. I mean, it's all new, and that's a little unnerving, especially in an environment like this against a good team that's good on special teams. So I thought they did a great job. William came in, hit a nice field goal right there where you thought we had a touchdown, and then you got to regroup and go hit the field goal. And Mason did a nice job. We didn't think we'd have to punt after a safety, but he came in and did that and did a nice job. And I thought our coverage units were good as well. So proud of. I thought we did a good job, and like every position, offense and defense, there'll be a lot to build up on as well. I'd be remiss too. I know there's some Virginia Tech media in here. I think it's kind of bittersweet that Randy King is not in here today. For those of you from Virginia, y'all know that Randy King was the longtime beat writer at the Roanoke Times for Virginia Tech and covered me when I was a player and covered so many of my dad's games. And he passed away recently, and certainly miss him. So please, keep him in your prayer, or his family in your prayers as well with that loss also. But really neat seeing so many faces in here. Bill Roth, and I was sitting in the locker room before the game, and I'm like, it's right about this time that Bill Ross coming on the air and saying from the blue waters of the Chesapeake Bay to the mountains of Southwest Virginia, the Virginia Tech Hokies are on the air. And so, something like that. You know what I mean? It's been like 10 years since I heard it, but it's really just proud of, grateful, fun seeing so many people. I tried to avoid so many people from Virginia Tech today, but to see Bud Foster and see Bill and to have Mike Burnop texting me in the locker room before the game, it's pretty cool. I'm glad it's over, though. Let's go get ready for South Carolina State. Good. Thank you, guys.